Hello, this is Aaron from Lo-Fi and D.I.Y with a new conversion project I have. This is the Fuji FP-1, which is designed for pack film. And here you can see this is the FP-1. It's a really incredible camera. It's probably one of the better pack film cameras made. It's got a really nice professional lens, a really clear, bright viewfinder, and rangefinder. Okay. In this case, I have removed the pack film back. You see, I've removed the pack film back. It would have been right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Very simple to remove. The screws, though, to keep in mind, are rather tiny. And because they're tiny, you will be required to use, in order to install this back, you will be required to use a precision screwdriver of some sort. Be careful. If your screwdriver doesn't fit, these will strip out and then you will be doomed because this is actually metal going into plastic, so you don't want to strip it out. Okay. Now, this particular back that I'm going to show you today is where I'm going to give this the ability to shoot with graflok 4x5. Graflok 4x5. So all the backs that you can think of that would fit with a graflok system should fit on this. And also you will get a full 4x5 image when you're shooting with this. The actual back itself that I've built for it is here are the sliders. There's a top slider and a bottom slider. Top slider has a cutout for the viewfinder, so it's easy to see. It's actually one of my simplest designs as far as installing. Installing should be a breeze with this. Now, one thing about it, because of the way it sits a little bit high because it's a full 4x5 back. So I've made this little stand for it. And the stand actually mounts in the tripod socket right there. Let's see if I can get it here. And then all you have to do then is screw it into your tripod socket like this. Now, when you are not using the stand, like you want to put it on a tripod, all you've got to do is remove the stand. It's quite easy to remove. Okay, so there it is. Holds it up a little bit so it's a little bit easier for me to install it right now. Okay, now as far as the install goes, like I said, there was 8 screw holes. Okay, and it just falls right in place. You can feel where the dimensions that I've made on the bottom just fall right into those slots. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and install it. I'm going to install 4 for expediency, but you could install all 8 screws. You could even just install the 4, as long as you put them on the 4 far corners. They should be fine. Let me tilt this up a little bit. Okay. So once the screw gets in there, it just falls in place. And then just go ahead and tighten it. Make sure you tighten it so it doesn't wiggle, but make sure you don't over tighten, as, like I said, it's going into plastic and you don't want it to slide around or anything, and you don't want it to strip out. Okay, so here's another one. Okay. So again, just firm and hand tight, but don't torque it so much that it's going to strip it. Okay, and now we're ready for the other 2 screws. There's one right here. Just drop it in that hole, and it'll kind of find its way. And you just tighten it down. Okay, and the final screw I'm going to put in on that final corner there. If you can magnetize the bit, I forgot to magnetize the bit before doing this video, but that does make it easier if you can magnetize the bit. That way you don't drop the screw into the bellows. Okay, now we've got it tightened down, and basically that's pretty much it for the back. Now I'll show you what we're going to do with the front. The camera, as you can see, it's set the film plane quite a ways back, so you obviously have to do something if you want to use your rangefinder at the front of the camera. Okay. And I have rangefinders specifically designed for it. I'm sorry, I have lens stops specifically designed for it in order for you to use your rangefinder. This is white. Yours would be black if you ordered one of these. I did white so it's easy to see. Okay. And there's some little notches here that match up the notches on here. All that will be very obvious when you have it in hand. And I am just basically friction fitting this in place, but I do install it. I'm sorry, I do send it with double-sided tape on the back. And if you want, so it's not just friction fit, you can actually remove the double-sided tape. And then what you do is you go ahead and pull it forward to where it bumps into that stop. And you take this piece here, and it goes right over this, right over the pinching part here, the little part that you pinch together. Pull this forward again. Sorry, it's a little challenging to do this with a camera in front of me. With a video camera, I should say, in front of me. Okay, so now you just slide it over that, and then make sure this stays up against it, and then push it down, and it will lock it in place. Let's see here. Yeah, there, locked in place. Okay, and now that it's locked in place, you can actually adjust the front standard to move back and forth. Okay. Now, when you're closing up, now this is for 4x5 shooting right here, not for Lomograflok. I'll show you Lomograflok in a second here. When you're removing it, or you want to close it, remove this, put it in your pocket, keep it with you. This little lock, it doesn't fit anywhere in the overall assembly. Go ahead and put this back as far as it goes. Now, you make sure, just like with normal use of this camera, make sure that it's in the infinity position. So you rotate until it's infinity position, and that's right here. It says infinity. Okay. Once you rotate it to the infinity position, now you're ready to go ahead and close it, and closes right up. Okay. Now you're ready to take it wherever you're going. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the Lomograflok stage. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is remove this lens stop, and I'm going to replace it with the Lomograflok lens stop. Again, I friction fit it in place, and I'll remove that. These two are for the regular shooting, and similarly, the Lomograflok has its own version. So let's go ahead and lock that one in place. Okay. And again, I'm going to pull this forward, pulling the front standard as far forward it'll go. It'll bump into the Lomograflok lens stop. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this cap on it and lock it in place. Okay, now that's ready to go in and out of, with the focus. And it uses the rangefinder, the built-in rangefinder. There's no other change that needs to be made. That is the only change. You can, just like with the other one, remove this. Okay, and move this back in, and move this back to the infinity position. Okay, and it will close right up again. Okay, let me go ahead and put in position again. And again, you just tuck this in your pocket or something, or put it in your camera bag. There we go. Okay, now let's spin it around and get ready for the Lomograflok. Okay, with the Lomograflok, it's simple, just like you normally would with the Lomograflok. You just mount it, just like you would to any other 4x5 camera. We're going to push these lugs in and lock them, top and bottom. Okay, now they're locked in place. Okay, the only other thing that you need to do is the Lomograflok, the film plane is right here, but Instax Y does curl in that direction towards the viewfinder. So I've got this little thing here. You can kind of just put in place, or you can snap it in place, whatever you'd like. And that will guard it from actually bumping into the viewfinder or trying to curl into the bar. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is now ready to shoot with the Lomograflok. Okay, and that is the conversion. It was that simple. It took probably all said, well, it says about 13 minutes total from beginning to end, including explaining it. So a very easy install. And thank you for watching.